for you. So like both of you are involved in healthcare. You're a pediatrician. You are
I
what?
was a medication aide.
Medication aid.
Yeah.
All right. So like it's been this ongoing theme here that like the lads here, we think that nurses are kind of red flags. What do you guys think about that?
I disagree, but I mean, I don't know. I think I understand your point about travel nursing, of course, but I guess I don't understand why it would be considered a red flag. Do you think the hours or they? I don't know.
It could be a couple things. I mean,
maybe a little bit of the trauma as well of being a nurse.
The
Quite
drama?
Trauma.
Oh, the
It's like
trauma.
quite a
I
traumatizing
understand.
industry.
Yeah. I think that's why police officers and nurses oftentimes end up together. I think there's trauma on both sides that you have to kind of work through. But again, it's the job you took on. If you have a serious passion for it, it's not something that you typically allow it to interfere with your relationship. With everything my husband and I have seen, all the death and everything, like we could not allow that to come in between our, it's like you have to take care of yourself first and your marriage and yeah.
I'd say it's a not a red flag for me. It's one of the more green flag industries. It means they're pretty caring.
Yeah.
Pretty good people.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were referring to like, is there a Grey's Anatomy type situation? Like,
I mean, they'll look after you when you're sick. Like if you ever get sick,
Yeah.
you get a
but here's, I mean, maybe you guys can talk a bit about this. Once you lose your empathy, they start seeing people just as a number, not as a human. So it could be the case that it actually starts working in the reverse, that they get jaded a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, I've been a nurse. Well, I was a nurse for 11 years, and I can say that I personally never held the boundary that you're required to have in terms of not getting too attached to your patients. I always have been very attached to my patients. I had worked with cancer children for a very long time. It's hard not to get emotional and empathetic when a mom hugs you and you know her child is going to be diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, and they're telling you, just please tell me everything's going to be okay, and you can't tell them that. I don't think I've ever lost that, but I also think that does weigh heavily, and it does carry through in my everyday life. I have to work very hard to separate that. But I don't necessarily think everybody loses empathy. What I will say is that I have met older nurses where I say they're desensitized. They need to book it out of the job field because they're clearly not even. Yeah, and I've experienced it with even the care of my own father, like meeting nurses like that where they just really don't care. They're just looking at a patient like a subject, honestly.
Would you say that yours or your husband's job is more traumatizing?
I would think my husband's, he works in Harrisburg City, so in Pennsylvania. It's a really very, very bad area. And I watched High Speed Chases that he was just in on Friday.
Police activity.
Were you watching it live?
On YouTube?
No, I watched it after the fact. He won't send me any of that live because I would be... I have all the faith in the world in my husband. He's been police officer of the year for 3 years in a row, officer of the county. I have all the faith in the world, but at the end of the day, there's just criminals. And
What do
they're
you
just
think
dangerous.
about the defund the police movement?
Hey, defund the police. You should go on a list of people, and when you call because you need the police,
Right.
they
Yep.
should say, sorry, you voted to defund the police. Good luck, though.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Really quick, just bringing it back to nurses. This is kind of... So, okay, this is like a theory I have. It could be totally baseless. But like if you're dating a nurse, let's say she works in the hospital, aren't hospitals like really disgusting?
Yes,
Well,
they are
I guess
disgusting.
it depends.
But so I was like,
disgusting.
it occurs to me like if you're dating a nurse,
Rule.
like she brings back...
Absolutely, but
Like
your
sh-
immune
Yeah.
system would be so legit after that.
Wait, the guy or the girls?
Yep, both of you. She brings it
Well,
home
Well,
to you.
that's what I'm
medical field.
thinking, bro.
Yep.
Like
immune system gets real. My kids and my husband and I, we have great immune systems, but also she should
But-
remove
but-
her scrubs,
but-
get a shower, take
yeah,
off the shoes,
of
stuff
course.
like that.
Shower afterwards.
You
but-
and your germophobia, bro.
No, I swear. Like I think about this shit.
it's
I'm
true,
like,
yeah.
if I'm dating a nurse, bro, like,
Yeah, it's
what about
understandable.
the MRSA, the C. diff?
Yeah.
Is C. diff transmissible between
Yeah,
people?
sure. Yep.
Yeah, she's gonna bring back C. diff.
Well, no. Okay.
What's C. diff?
Clostridium difficile. It's
You're gonna have to English that for me.
found in your stool, basically.
In your what?
Stool. Your poop.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
poop
it's
a lot.
it's the
It's-
other than a GI bleed, other than a gastrointestinal bleed, it's probably the most potent smelling poo
Yeah,
you'll
C.
ever
diff
Like
always
a-
has a particular friggin'
Yes.
smell.
Yeah.
And
Or
that
like-
can only be cleansed through hand washing with soap and water, not with sanitizer. So
And then I think the other thing where it can potentially be an issue with dating is that nurses are typically like surrounded by
I love this.
very like by doctors, which in terms of like are up there in terms of
High value men.
high value men, and so they're constantly around these men, and
Well, that's if you
but
work in
they're
a
nurses.
hospital. In a nursing home, there's there's like
No, there's
one
doc-
doctor.
There's no Chad
No.
grandpas walking around.
Okay, well, but yeah.
Not
So-
really, no.
What do you think? I'm thinking, this is what I think. My husband thought the same. You think an attending physician looks like McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy kind of thing?
That's not-
No,
I'm
not
thinking-
necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But aren't a lot of nurses like pining after the doctors?
I was thinking more
I would
house.
love to speak on
the guy
that.
from House.
So I worked in a hospital for 2 years. That's where I met my boyfriend, who hopefully will be my husband someday. And you had said, I want to bring it back just a second. You had said that the older nurses are like, quote unquote, like not as good.
No, desensitized.
Desensitized. Okay. I actually would say roles reversed on that because I worked in ICU, neuro ICU. I worked on like inpatient gen surge. I think our newer nurses are having a harder time having that empathy but separating it. Because if you have so much empathy for your patient, it does get in the way of patient care. You make different decisions and the outcomes are different. Are you taking in the patient's considerations as much, or are you pushing on what you think that they should have?
You keep
So-
them number one, the patient. If you're super empathetic, you keep them number one in their wishes, and you'll carry it through till the very end. Yeah, I just meant older women desensitized, but in terms of the attending physicians, we're talking like they're like old, like older. They're like older. They're not McSteamy. McSteamy is the residents who are in massive amounts of crippling debt. And no, I can honestly say no. Never once have I looked at a doctor and thought, yes, I want that to be my
A
man.
lot of
No,
nurses
never.
do.
Wait, a lot of nurses do want the doctors?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of Wisconsin. Go Pack, go.
Well, yeah. So because I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you said you're 20. You're dating. What's it, 8 years?
Yep.
28 resident.
Yep.
Physician.
Yeah. Surgeon.
Surgeon. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of surgery? Orthopedic.
No.
You don't have to say. You don't have
I'm
to
not
say
gonna
if it's
say. I
like
wanna
yeah. That's fine.
respect
That's fine.
him
That's fine.
because
They'll
as
find
Ben
out.
Shapiro has stated, what you say as a doctor, healthcare
Canon will be
can't-
used against you in a court of law.
Can't say anything. But, like when he goes to work, he comes home, nurses, of course they're hitting on him. I kind of like it. I'm like, okay.
You're like, yeah, that's my man.
Well, yeah, I like it. And I never worry when he comes home. I have met some of them. So,
Wait, question. Does it go down in the janitorial closet?
No.
Not with you guys. I'm not saying you guys, but like
In the psych
do you
hospital,
see,
yes.
Like, do you see like nurses getting it on with, does it
Security.
go down?
It's happened at my nursing home.
Does it go down?
They had sex in the kitchen.
Are they fucking
Oh,
in the
yeah.
With the
hospital?
old people?
No,
No,
it was
no.
like
With other people.
CNAs.
With it. Yeah.
So there's
No,
a bit of goss going around.
It's
going around the
it's
hospital.
hard. It's hard. It depends. Like in the psych hospital, I know it was happening on night shift. That was very evident. Everybody knew it. But I work day shift, and there's not a chance for an RN to walk away from her desk. There's just not.
Okay.
Somebody will get attacked. We don't have security, so we have to
Sure.
take people to the ground.
Okay.
But yeah, it happens.
Okay. We have a chat here from Grams. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yes, nurses are a curse. I remember having 4 nurses in the room while I sponge bathed. What? When it came to washing my
surgery.
junk,
Like
I had
supposed
4
to.
nurses just waiting to see me.
Just to wash my.
Well, that
Okay.
is very
Word.
unfortunate for you.
Sounds
I
like
could honestly say that would never be something we would
that
want
happened.
to watch.
It's
That
like he was on
happened.
display.
Yeah, that's
you, Grams.
we don't look at body parts and think that
SpongeBob
in a
would be
sexual way at all.
I
No.
broke 2 wrists at the
Wait,
same time.
make
once.